Hey guys, welcome to Project Metal Music's YouTube channel with your host Elion, and we are here with the brilliant Dave Luck. Welcome, Dave. Uh,
Hey, El. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure being here today. Thanks, everybody, for
my
visiting
pleasure.
with us.
My pleasure.
I'm Dave
So,
Look.
Dave,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
I'm Dave Look, author and musician, here visiting all of you with the wonderful radio presenter, El Young. Nice to meet everybody.
so Dave, let's get into some questions. As a kid, what were you listening to?
As a little kid, before I could make my own choice in music, I was listening to what my parents were listening to, which was mostly Jimi Hendrix, acid rock of that era. My father was a guitar player himself, pretty decent one as well. And so, his favorite was Jimi Hendrix. He was into Led Zeppelin, Bad Company, things like that. And then my mother had a different kind of flavor. She was more into the moody stuff, like the REO Speedwagon and the Dan Fogelberg, and a little more progressive, a little more emotional. Real big on Bruce Springsteen's old stuff. So yeah, I had a pretty varied background growing up. It was a mixture of rock and kind of maybe American folk.
Yeah, cool, cool. Who actually got you? Who actually got you into music? Was it your parents? Was it a sibling or some other family member type of thing?
I'd say it was my DNA that got me, L. I'm a third
Mm.
generation guitar player. My grandmother played on my dad's side, and my dad played, but I was taken away from that part of the family at a very, very young age. So I didn't grow up around them and see them playing, or really was super aware of their playing. So it came to me naturally on its own. A friend in the neighborhood was playing guitar. I saw him doing it, and next thing you know, you're bugging him to hold it, and there's this give and go, this constant struggle of trying to share one guitar while you're both young and breaking through. But it was good times. We were both hungry, and we played till our fingers practically fell off back in those days. But yeah, I would say
Yeah,
it was just in my DNA, and a kid growing up was playing near me, so that helped out.
yeah, cool, cool. So, who actually inspired you to become a musician? Was it, say, Jimi Hendrix or Jimmy Page, or was it somebody completely different?
In the beginning, I was just a guitar player. These days, I'm a lead vocalist, a songwriter, and a lead guitar player. But for many, many years, I was just a guitar player. So I aspired. You did name one of my top two heroes, Jimmy Page. Honestly, the man is a god, in my opinion. He's barely human. He aged amazingly well, and I bet you he could still play almost everything he ever could, even at his age now. Jimmy Page is a genius. He's far beyond me. I don't want to draw any real comparison between me and my hero. That man exists on a level that I don't know if anyone ever else will. But really, Jimmy Page, and on the other side was Dave Mustaine. Um, you know, very heavy, very aggressive. Got the punk and the metal, the heavier edge. That's something that I also bring. So when you listen to a look song, you may hear a piece of folk in it. You may hear something that sounds Celtic. You might hear something that sounds swampy Southern, or you might get your head taken off. I mean, because I'm so unpredictable. I'm all over the board. That's kind of goes with that infinity symbol in the name. Anything goes when you step into a look song. Be prepared.
Cool, cool. Were you in any previous bands before you started Look?
None really worth mentioning. A garage band when I was a kid called Children of Eden. We were offered a deal with Capitol Records, but we were 19. We won a talent show. Talent Scout took the video back to Nashville, played it for some executives. I received two phone calls, one from Killer Records and one from Capitol Nashville. Capitol Nashville wanted us in Nashville the next week in their studios to see what we could provide. But the problem was the previous night before I received the call, there was a 2-day span from winning the contest to receiving the call from this executive. In that 2-day period, the drummer stole my girlfriend and took the bass player and left the band and they went and joined another band. And it was just chaos. We were kids, you know. In some ways, I'm glad that I didn't step out at that early young age. Now I get to offer a more mature product. I mean, now I'm only just beginning to get on the scene, you know, many, many years later. So I missed the boat when I was a kid, but I'm late to the party. I'll tell you, I'm here to get it. Speaking of party,
Yeah.
gin will make you sin.
Yeah. I've sort of like looked at your Bandcamp page, and you've over the last, I would say, last 2 years or so, you've released quite a few. I would say about what five EPs, 5 albums.
Precisely
So
5, yes, sir.
So could you tell us a little bit about the what you've been doing over the last 5 years, 2 years, say since 2021?
Sure, man. This band was formed in late 2019 during the viral shutdown when the whole world was shut down and we were all locked down. You know what I mean? Nobody was doing nothing. So the guys in my band, they're pretty famous, man. They're already famous in a melodic black metal group that called the Noctambulant. So they were sitting home. They just come off tour from Europe, and I met them online and kind of convinced them to work with me in the beginning. It was tenuous at first, but it was decent. You know, we had a lot of failures in the beginning. You know, at one point I think we almost just fell apart because we really were just strangers. You know, just putting something together on the side. But then it started to become magical. And then it honestly became gelling, and those guys found themselves truly enjoying the side project of Look. So because it's an escape from what they do. I mean, those guys are so heavy. They wear this crazy metal makeup stuff. They look like dead people on stage. So, you know, and they're very heavy. You know what I mean? They're way heavier than anything I do. Even though I can get pretty heavy, but that's a different kind of heavy. So they love working with me, and that's how it began. We've been very active. We put out 4 records together. One of those records on the Bandcamp channel is a solo record from me that's more in the vein of a hip hop, R&B, maybe a Barry White type record called Infinite Love. I did it for Valentine's Day of this year. It's a collection of hip hop beats with me like singing hip hop type songs. So it's not really a Look record, but there are 4 rock and roll records over there. And 2 of them have come out this year. Unbreakable came out March 28th. So it's honestly still very new and worth talking about in this interview. Killer record. I've been getting airplay around the world on a lot of internet stations with the song Unbreakable. You know, it didn't quite go where I wanted it to go. So I was like, okay, I think the people are ready for a happy, feel good record. You know, I kind of thought about it. I actually consciously thought about it. I'm like, I just dropped a really heavy record called Unbreakable. It's full of angst, social issues, breakup songs, this kind of stuff, right? Which is cool. That's really what I mostly am. But I thought about it and I was like, you know, hair metal's kind of coming back. I mean, people are showing me that, you know, Poison's out doing well. Rat's out there. It's my friend Stephen Pearcy's out touring on the world doing well. A lot of these guys are doing well from that era of rock and roll. And it's a different flavor of rock and roll. It's a lighter, happier vibe. So I was like, well, what can I do? Well, so I said, let's do the party record. Let's just write a collection of songs that are just feel good party tracks. You could throw it on at a party. Every single song could play because they're all just great, you know, feel good kind of songs, in my opinion. And that's what we did. And I love this record. You know, I think it's our best record. Yeah. I really do. I do. I've heard that from some other people already too, that we've shown growth on each release. And so that's a good way of saying it. I mean, you know, instead of bashing what we did previously, you just say, hey man, you're getting better each time. But I got to work with a 6-time Grammy award-winning producer on one of the songs. I'd like to mention that.
Yeah,
Never worked
yeah,
with
by all means.
anybody that big, multi-platinum producer. I paid him a bunch of money, and more than I want to say. But no, Magic Reed came on the team, and he mixed and mastered "Cast Your Spell," which is the main lead-off single. And I'm very happy that we got a real professional, high-grade sound with that one.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
thanks
want
for
to go
having me.
there. Yeah, yeah. I want to go through like the party record, if you don't mind. Right, basically, when is it going to be released? Has it been released, or are you planning on releasing it in the next, say, a week or two?
It's currently released on that Bandcamp site, but that's the only place that I release my music right now. I have a YouTube channel with a few videos or whatever, but yeah, the Bandcamp site, you could purchase that if you'd like to. I have a deal on the table with MC1 Sony, but I'm not financially able to take the deal. It's a distribution deal that I have to self-finance, and I'm not willing to go to Kickstarter and beg for money and all this kind of jazz from people. I've never been one to do that. If I can come up with about $6,000, though, I can distribute through Sony and take a real big swing at them. But I ain't there yet with my personal finances. I've spent 20
Yeah.
grand on those records, man. It's been a lot of money, bud.
Yeah.
But it's been a lot of fun too, man. You don't look at what you spend and what you make. I've lost almost all that money. It doesn't matter. I do this for the love of the music, for the fun of making it. I'm about to go make another really heavy record, and that makes sense. I'm hungry to make something that is real heavy, down-tuned guitars, double bass beats, just real heavy, guttural growls,
Yeah.
spooky singing, yeah, some keyboard in there maybe. I'm gonna go crazy on the next one.
Yeah.
They asked me to be nice on this one, and I was. Now there's some good tracks on there,
So
man.
yeah. So can we like go through? I guess I think it's how many songs? I did write them down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 songs on Party Record.
There
Can we
is.
go right through? Can we go through one by one? See what your process was for each song.
Yeah, man. There's actually was an interesting process to this one that was unique from the other records. The running order that you see is the order that they were recorded in. So as you're experiencing each song come through, it's exactly how I experienced it creating it. I write all the songs, all the lyrics, all the music, everything. I do all that, but I cannot take credit for the sound of Look. Without those other two guys, we would not have this unique sound. That bass player, he is college educated. He is an extremely versatile musician. My bassist is ridiculously talented. So when you listen to the record, you check him out, you're really getting some stuff that sound like Flea visited from Red Hot Chili Peppers, or Geezer Butler visited or something, really good stuff, tasty stuff. But no, the process, the first song was the first song. The second one came along. It was kind of neat. I found the drum beat first, and it's a Motown beat. That's actually a Motown beat, So here I am borrowing from Motown, and so I decided I'm from the same city as James Brown. I actually met him before. We opened up for James Brown, his final performance in Augusta, Georgia, before he died. I had some R&B artists that I managed at the time. They opened up for James. So I got a little connection to him, did some work at his house, kind of caught his vibe, a little bit. So I tried to go James Brown on track 2. When you listen to the opening scream, I'm just channeling James Brown. I mean, it's the same city. He believed that Augusta had a unique magic. I've heard him say it, there's a certain spell over this city that he'd been all over the world. And, our city held a particular magic to him, and a unique magic, and I'm here. So I tell people I'm infected with the same spirit as James Brown was. I can get funky with it, man. So track 2 is all about sex. Yeah, it's just all about sex, man. Really, the whole record's about sex. honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just want to pretty much be honest, even Black Panther is about sex. But no, we'll go through to see track 3 is Fuck at the Beach, if I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, my bad.
It's all right.
But no,
It's all
yeah,
right.
it's it's basically really simple punk rock track. I mean, just straight, kind of shows you this is some of what I do. I can get real punk with it. I just don't give a fuck sometimes, and it comes across. Sometimes I even sing with a British accent. I don't mean to. I've heard people say that's actually something I'm doing wrong, and I'm like, no, I don't think so. I think it's just something that's just happening. Cool. And on that track, kind of get a little bit of that in the hook. But it's all about grab a bottle, let's go. This party's lame. Let's go fuck at the beach.
Yeah. The
That's the
fourth
premise
song
of the lyrics.
is yeah. The fourth song is which is the lead single, as you said, which is "Cast Your Spell." Could you?
Absolutely. It's a sweet one, man.
Yeah.
And, I don't think this has ever happened, but something happened with that song, man. I sat down with the drum beat here in this same very room that I'm doing this interview with you in, and I got good and high that day on some really good marijuana. And I sat down, I heard the beat once, and I was like, oh, I like that beat. So it turned me on, I was real excited. I rewound the beat. I fretted the chord of A minor. I hit that beat again, and I swear to God, anybody that's listening, I'm not lying to you. Something eerie happened that day. It's never happened in any other song I've ever written. I just started to just play it exactly the same exact way as you hear it on that recording. It never changed. It never grew or morphed or was edited or any of that, molested in any way. That song that you hear recorded is the exact same way that it came out of me from beginning to end the very first time. Musically, the lyrics, they were worked on a little bit, but not really the vocal line itself. I'm telling you, that song is like I already knew how to play the damn thing and just sat down and just did it one day. It was just float, and I knew how to do it perfect after that. It's just amazing, man. That's a story for real. That is the story of the record. The way that thing was birthed. It's, and I'm also an author, and I learned a term from Stephen King called rapid transcendental composition. And Stephen King says he is not skilled at rapid transcendental composition, which the words, if you really listen to them, they tell you what that means. It means that you can go somewhere else and you can go see what you need to see, grab what you need to grab from the creative world, and come back and rapidly spit it out, and it's there. I mean, really there, and it's solid. So that's how I write in my author. I have a book coming out in September also called The Orange Tree, but that's a different world. But I mean, I'm more than just a musician. I write things. I got a shot at Hollywood coming up with a screenplay I'm doing right now called Survive a Shooting. Keanu Reeves is going to be reading it. So I mean, I make moves. I just stay real busy, El. I don't know. I'm driven by demons or something, man. They push me, make me work hard.
Yeah.
It's all right. All demons aren't bad, man, if you're working hard to get away from them. True. After that is track 5 check this out, man. Track 5 is currently my favorite song on the record, right? But there's a little story behind that too. I was running out of time to finish this thing. Okay. I said the other guys they're headed for tour on Europe. As a matter of fact, they're there right now. This is their first day in Europe to do a tour with a major big death metal band. So they're climbing up big time fast. And so I was running out of time with them to finish the record. So I was like, damn, I was feeling the pressure. You know what I mean? Here I am. I set out to specifically write a fun record. I can't just go grab some other song I had laying around. They're all heavy angst-driven tracks or whatever. So I was kind of tight, right? I only had one song developed at that point that I even thought was halfway cool, and it was called I Play the Game. But here's the thing. I was doing it live on my Facebook page and working on it live and letting it grow and morph. And, you know, because most of my songs usually do, they cook and simmer down, and they grow a little. That's why I made a big story about Cast Your Spell. It's not changed at all. It's like the old dinosaur that's still out there, you know, hasn't changed a bit. So this song's out there developing, and the fans just kept loading it down with hearts, like an unusual amount of hearts. So I recognized that. I was like, well, all right, you know, maybe I should do this. And so I committed to it for that. So I took it in, I got it down, I sent it down to Florida where the other guys live. And what they did to the song, especially the bass player on that track, man, you guys got to really focus on track 5's bass. It's ridiculous. It blew me away, dude. So here I go from barely in love with a song, reluctantly putting it on the record in a way because I'm out of time, even though the fans are telling me it's great, and I respected that choice. That's why I did it. But these guys down there, they just knocked my dick in the fucking dirt with that, man. And so now it's my favorite song. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, you know. I went from kind of not loving it to captured by it, you know. So that's a cool one, man. And the last track, Black Pantheress, quick story on that one. That's actually off of our first record, Attrition, the very first record we ever did as a band. It's a re-release from that record because I love that song so much. It doesn't quite fit the party vibe, but it's the last song, so it can stand off to its own. But it kind of leads you into, this is something else we do. It's an advertisement for the heavier stuff. But I thought about it. The storyline is a party record storyline. It's about a insatiable, beautiful black female who sets her sights on a, what would you call him, you know, unknowing white guy, and she will not be deterred until she gets her sexual fill from this gentleman. Starts at a party, obviously, something like that you could say, and that's the storyline. And if you watch the video on YouTube, I paid some good money to have it animated by a cartoon designer. Kind of tells the story. So it's why it's on there, you know, it fit and it shows off something else. And I love the track. It's great. And those are backward vocals at the beginning. Don't try to figure out what I'm saying. It's backwards.
Yeah. I have.
So there's the rundown on all the songs.
Yeah. I have posted your YouTube link, link to your YouTube channel in the chat. So if you want to check out Dave's
most gracious brother.
videos, we'll check them out. Yeah, so yeah, cool.
Please, y'all subscribe.
Yeah, I have as well. Yeah, I have subscribed as well. So yeah, go check them out.
Oh, thank you, Al. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. Yeah, so now that you've released the album Party Record, are you writing any new material, or are you taking a break from it, or are you just like thinking in the background if something comes up in your mind, are you writing stuff down?
The things that are on my quick upcoming future, the boys are on tour for 8 weeks in Europe, so they'll be completely knocked out of the loop till probably close to Christmas. So I say around the first of the year, we'll be able to regroup on a new record. And we will, because that's just how and what we do. You know, we never know how much time we have, El. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You, me, anybody listening to this, you never know how much time. And I'm not trying to be a naysayer or doomsday preacher or anything, man. I'm just saying, if you focus on that fact, you get a little more busy if you really are into this. So we're going to stay busy. We're going to put out a really heavy record, super heavy record next. Maybe called Broken Dreams. That's the title that I'm toying with. I'm also in the middle of my first audio book. I've done cast a whole bunch of people, and I've got all these people read their lines and stuff. And we were assembling that audio book when the inspiration for the party record. I wanted to get it out for summer, so we put that to the side. I want to finish my audio book. It's called Crushing in Cancun. It's about 2 young lesbians who get married and go to Cancun, Mexico on holiday. They have an accident, flip over a cliff, land in the ocean. The stronger of the pair of lesbians lands on the beach, unable to save the other one that's inside. A gentleman saves her, and the white knight syndrome kicks in, and the lesbian falls in love with the guy who saved her. And this is a big problem in Mexico on their honeymoon. So stay tuned for that. It ends in tragedy, as you might imagine. All my stories end in tragedy, man. It's just something I do. Call me Shakespeare. His stuff ended in tragedy too, man. I like tragedies. A lot of my songs are tragic too, man, but not all of them. I like to offer hope as well. It's a hard life, but it goes on forever and ever, man. And in all honesty, there's a lot of hope when you think about life goes on forever, even once you leave the flesh. So yeah, man, let's get it on. It's time to party. Everybody go jam on the record, grab a woman, bet her down to it. Have fun.
So when the guys,
thanks for having me.
When the guys get back from Europe after the Epic tour that we're on, are you thinking of actually going out on tour yourself to promote the records, or are you just gonna just purely do writing and really?
There would have to be a larger demand for Look to book a tour, but we are going to do a show. We've talked about doing one in their hometown of Jacksonville down there, where they're very well connected with a pretty good crowd, and they know the club people and stuff, so they could easily grab us a night, and we've discussed doing that, so we could get a live movie filmed of it. There's terms in this industry, and one of the terms, you probably are aware of this, being in the industry, is there's a term called the studio band. And I don't want to be a studio band, but right now, Mr. Young, that's what we are. We're a studio band. I mean, you guys heard how we were formed. I'm a side project to a band that's already successful, out touring the world. It's very difficult for them to, just stop what they're doing and come jump in the trenches with Look. But they do give me their all on the records. We in the photo opportunities, they've been in interviews with me previously, so they do help support. I mean, they are involved, and if we can ever get a show, we could record it. Everybody could visit the recording, and those that could be there would be great. And if we could ever break through, yes, we would tour, and they would tour with me. But it's going to require a breakthrough to pull them away from a larger situation.
Yeah.
And I understand.
Yeah.
It is. That's very, because they've worked real hard, yes, to get to where they are.
Yeah. This is probably going to be my last question. Is there any advice that you can give to people who want to become a musician?
I think the first thing that would definitely jump to mind is to be true to yourself. There's a curve and a timeline in the industry out there. What you see that's hot in front of your eyes right now is 18 months behind. So if you aspire to go be what is there now, in 18 months, even if you did everything perfect from right this second, right now, and you did everything and jumped in quick, you won't make it in time to catch the curve before it changes. So the only thing that you can honestly do is be real to yourself and hope that you catch that curve naturally, that you're there at the right time, being yourself, true to yourself, and hope it aligns up that way. You can never chase it. If you chase it, you're done before you start. And it'll come across as fake. It'll come across as not lasting. Right now, El, in our industry, man, I don't know if you know this. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But I got a tidbit for you, man. And this kind of ties into what you're saying. On the global entertainment dollar that's spent on music, the dollar globally, 95 cents of it automatically goes straight back to the past. And by the past, I'm generally the past in the industry is considered 20 years back or further. Okay. So what that means is that today's music has no real attraction. It has no real grab. It leaves the rest of all new creative artists, including all your Hot 100, everything that you see making money, scrambling to fight for that nickel. 5% of the global entertainment dollar that is spent goes to the current music. 3 years ago, it was 10%. They think the virus and just everything, the way it's going on, cut it again in half in the last 3 years. It went from, we used to get a dime, it used to be 90 cents went to the past. This is why you are seeing the big companies spending $300 million and buying the entire catalog of older artists, because there's something missing, man, in today's music. The human spirit. It's something's wrong, man, and it comes out through the art. I know there's all kinds of people making music now that are going to hate me for saying this, man, but the facts and the stats are there. We're not drawing the money from the past. The past is taking up all the cash. So that means it's taking up the attention too. I mean, it's not, so it is what it is, man. Just stay true to yourself. It's hard to make it now. 95 cents on the dollar goes to the past, and we ain't in the past. You're up here fighting for a nickel. You're fighting for your little tiny sliver of a nickel, and you're up against the biggest names in the world. You're up against the biggest companies that already run the game. It's very difficult to get in. If you have money and you have talent and you have real dedication and a little bit of luck, you can still make it, man. I mean, there's people who do it, there's people who blow up on the internet and get their own following without any real help. That's my goal. That is what I need. I need to make it on my own terms. And that would be good. The labels have heard me, man. Nobody wants to take really a bite. I mean, I've got MC1 Sony offering a distribution deal. But other than that, I've got nobody taking a bite. Nobody can even understand. I'm almost like Frank Zappa. I lose them. In some ways, I feel like I need to grow your ear a little bit just to get with me. That's why I simplified the party record some. I almost bent down a little bit, but I think that's part of feeling good. You don't want to have to listen too hard. So, all right, man. I love y'all so much. I see my battery's almost dead. Go get the party record.
Yeah. So I'll make this quick. Where can people find you? Are you on I know you're on Facebook. Are you on Twitter? Are you on Instagram? And I know you're on Bandcamp on YouTube. So go check them out on their Bandcamp on YouTube. Are you any other pages? Like social media?
Just the three that you mentioned. I have an Instagram page that some girl runs. I don't even know nothing about it. I don't know. I wouldn't suggest that to anybody. It's out there somewhere. But now, if you want to connect to me directly, anybody sees this interview. I've got plenty of room on my friend list. I'm very peculiar who I accept. There's plenty of room over there. Come send me a friend request. Come follow my professional page on Facebook. Subscribe to my YouTube channel so you keep up with me there as well. And the Bandcamp has all of the music. So I've got 3 platforms right now that you can connect to me. But the most direct, most personal way you want to connect to me for bookings, to get to know me personally, anything like that, get a phone call from me, Facebook. Hit me up on Facebook. That's my spot.
Cool. So I'll let you go there, Dave, because as you said, the battery's starting to go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dave.
It's definitely going.
Thank you, Dave. So thank you, Dave. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Brother L. I so appreciate you doing this, man. God bless you.
Yeah, you too.
I hope you live forever.
That's the plan.
All right. That's the plan for everybody.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Good night.
Catch you later, Dave.
Yes, sir.